Hello, everyone. Well, happy Wednesday. And guys, we have probably the most special and the biggest stream that I have ever done. There are so many people here. It's awesome. You're going to love all of them. But the very first person I'm going to bring on is the person that you are all here to see. And that is Miss Jodi Shaw herself. Welcome back to the channel, Jodi.
Hello. It's nice to be here. Thanks,
It's a very, yes, of course. And it's a very, very, very deeply exciting day. Are you ready for what we're going to do here today?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, before we get into it, we do have many guests that are here to cheer on Jodi and support her. And I'm just going to bring on each of them one by one. We're going to have it's going to basically be like the Brady Bunch. We are the Brady Bunch here today. So I'm going to bring each of them on one by one. The first one I'm going to add is Aaron. Welcome, Aaron.
Hey, hello. It's good to be here.
Yeah, so why are you here today, Aaron? Who are you and why are you here? I know who you are, but other people may not.
Okay, well, my name is Aaron Kinspotter, and I'm a professor of counseling at the University of Vermont. And I am here because I think that I can lay claim to the fact that I am Jodi Shaw's biggest fan. And I've been waiting and waiting to see this. And it's always great to see my friend Carlin again, too.
Excellent. All right. Next up, we have Miss Gabrielle Clark herself. Want to introduce yourself to the crowd?
Hey, I'm Gabrielle Clark, and I am unqualified. That's what I am.
All right. And then we have Jen Friend. Welcome back, Jen.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Friend. I'm a therapist in private practice in the Washington, D.C. area, and I'm the peer support lead for Counterweight, and I'm here to support Jodi, my good friend, and to hang out with all my other friends.
Excellent. Next up, we have Charles. Welcome, Charles, to the stream. Can you introduce yourself?
I am Charles Love, co-host of Cut the Bull and the host of the Charles Love Show. And I'm here because I hear there is a rap lesson and I want to learn.
Well, we have one more guest to add to the stream for right this second, and that's going to be Steven. Steven, welcome to the stream. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi. Yeah, I'm Stephen Elliott. I'm a writer, and I just love nerd rap and nerdcore. And, honestly, I went to see the Vanilla Ice movie when I was in college. I listened to the Eminem album when it came out on vinyl, and I'm just here for this. I'm just here for this great music.
I'm sensing a theme here. Eminem, Vanilla Ice.
I can't help it. I like some other good music too. I don't only listen to bad music.
That is awesome.
It's awesome music. So I've heard this song, and it's a great song. So I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, Steven's heard it. He heard the musical version only.
Oh.
Excellent. Well, Jodi, there might be some people here because this thing just released like 15 minutes ago. So bring us up to speed on why we are here. What are we watching today, and why are we all gathered together?
Okay, so it just released because I was like at the last minute niggling around with little things, and then can I swear? Can we swear on here?
Yes.
And then I was just like, fuck it, just pushed it out there. Okay, so as you all know, I used to work at Smith College in the library. I was in the library, and I was a temporary librarian, and I was hired in part for my ability to engage library patrons. And I was tasked with putting together a first-year library orientation that was, quote, wild and crazy. And it was actually a condition of the venue I was given that whatever I did, I had to be wild and crazy. No boring slideshows. So having a musical background, I figured, what is the best way to transmit a bunch of very boring information to a bunch of tired first years? Obviously, a rap. So I went to work creating this rap, and it took me about 2.5 months because I wasn't just writing the rap and getting the musicians together. I was also like organizing this event for 600 people, all the other logistics. Well, cut to less than a week before the event, my supervisor approached me, and he came into my office and he said, "You can't do the rap." And so, of course, I said, why? And he said, because you're white. Those are literally the next words out of his mouth. And so I said, well, I said, well, so if I was a person of color, and I didn't specify what color, I just said person of color, meaning non-white, aka non-white, would I be able to do this? And he just said yes. He just didn't hesitate. So then he suggested, why don't you just do something else? And it's like literally like a week away, and I'm like, well, gee, I don't know if I can come up with anything like wild and crazy by next Wednesday. And he was like, well, I'll help you. I said, well, are you going to come in and work this weekend? He said, well, no, I'm going to Montreal this weekend, but I'll be back on Tuesday. So I was just, the person that gave me the event, I explained to her what happened, and she was like, you can't do a boring slideshow, basically. So it got canceled because of my skin color. And so now, when my story about Smith became really public, that is the one thing. This is only one of many, many things that happened to me at Smith College. The library rap was the first incident, I guess, based on my skin color. And yet that is the one thing that a bunch of bloggers and journalists and people online picked out. And I suspect it has to do with the fact that people are just like, I don't know, like a white, middle-aged white librarian, like rapping, like, I don't know. So, and like, a lot of them are like, she wasn't really discriminated against so much as like, saved from humiliating herself. That's a direct quote. She was rescued from humiliating herself. So we, then there was like all this whole campaign on Twitter, release the rap. So I started thinking about that, and I went on Benjamin's show, and he found my music, and so that he was like, you should give more of your music to the world, and you should like put your anger into your music. So I took his advice, and I made the rap. So this is the original rap, the original library rap, interspersed with more recently written lyrics to reflect the current situation that I am in with Smith College. So it goes from librarian. There's two characters. There's the librarian character, and then there's the Jodi Shaw character. So when we watch it, see if you can tell the difference. It goes back and forth. So that's the story. That's the context. Oh, and one more bit of context. At the time, the main library on campus was closed. There's 4 libraries on campus, so one was closed. There's only 3. Oh, God, that's the white power sign. Are you kidding me?
You just got clipped.
Shit.
Oh, you're double canceled.
I am double canceled now. I can't believe it. So there's 3 libraries left on campus at the time. So I had to communicate, because a lot of students were like, I don't know if I can go to those other 3 libraries, because that's like the science library and the arts library, and I'm not a science major. So that was part of the information I had to transmit. There's a lot of context that probably people won't get unless they're at Smith, but it's very informative. You can learn a lot about the libraries at Smith.
All right. Well, and we're gonna be able to watch the rap. But before we get into that, guys, have you mounted that like button yet? Please let YouTube know that we are something worth watching, because we're about to watch something really amazing, and we want as many people here as possible. No, it's going to be fine. All right. Is everyone ready to watch the rap? Are you guys ready to go?
Yes.
We're gonna do it.
Let's see this right.
Is everyone in the chat? Is everyone in the chat ready to watch the rap? Rap. Oh my God, I can't even speak today. Rap.
The rap. The WRAP. The white rap.
The white middle-aged lady.
White middle-aged.
6
white
minutes.
lady.
That's a long rap. She went the whole way.
It's more like a docu-rap. It's a docu-rap.
Documentary. It's a rap.
All right. Well, let's dig in, and I'm gonna mute everyone just because I don't want there to be any feedback on it. So don't take offense. I will unmute you guys when we come back. Okay. All right. Let's dig in.
Here we go.
Hi, Jodi. This is college calling. You know that rap you were going to do next week? That's not going to work. work for us. You're gonna need to come up with something else. Good luck.
Look, I know we're down one, but we still got three. Each and every one of them, gem, unique. Each with a certain style that suits your personality, and where you want to go just depends on where you want to be. And you can go to anyone. It doesn't matter what you study, it doesn't matter where you're from. It's just a way to deal with the reality you face, whether studying or reading or staring into space. Getting a book, it's not that hard. All you really need is a one card. You go online and you take your pick from the 5 college catalog. Just one click to request item. Are we on the same page? Monday through Friday, it only takes a day or two. The staff ensure that the book you get is the very same book that you request. They put it on a van and they take it for a ride. They bring it to you young and they put it on the side for you to pick up at your leisure, whether for research or pleasure. They're gonna try to make me look like I'm a user, abuser, a nut or a slut. Gonna try to break me down and drag me through the slumming mud. Spit in my eye, make me wanna really die. Wish I had an alibi. To be honest, I am terrified of all the things they're gonna say, even if unverified. Lay it on a hook for me to take the bait. Open up a book, my whole life to annotate. I am the woman you see on the screen. Sweet, gentle, calm, and clean. And I've seen some trouble, and I can be mean, but I've still got a soul, and I'm still a human being. I've got history, I've known real misery. I've had my share of some damn fine easy. I struggled with my mental health as a kid and adult. Notches in my bedpost and lots of notches in my belt. I can't lie, I've got a few skeletons, but holy hell, take a look at those elephants. You think I'm the problem? An assault on intelligence. I object on grounds of relevance. And now let's talk about the woman who has a paper due at midnight, and now it's 3:30 on the day that is due. Where you gonna go? What you gonna do? You're gonna go to our site, the one right there. Look in the upper right, you see the button that's there? The one that says ask us, as in a question. It's full of good answers and suggestions. Just send us an email, we'll hit you back. Just describe the problem and tell us where you're at, or give us a call, on the phone. We'll be sure to hook you up with someone who knows the answer to any question that you have. But if it's down to the wire and you need help fast, just come on in, we'll walk you through, or make an appointment. Yeah, that's good too. This ideology is not what it seems, the end you use to justify being mean. I've watched you engage in debilitating teens, prey upon young adults, angst and anxieties. I fight my battles with the best of intentions. Gotta keep going, now I've got their attention. Keep saying all the things they don't want me to mention, while they go on living in an alternative dimension. It's not an accident that I'm the one to speak. Always been a little weird, always been a freak. I've struggled hard to heal, always been a squeaky wheel. I detect the artifice and the bullshit in any deal. So now you know it all, my foibles and my trauma. But I've got a good heart and I am a good mama, and I did nothing to deserve this drama brought upon me solely for my skin color. Special collections, there are 3 parts, repositories that comprise the heart of the history that we all share as women, as sisters, as humans who care. The Sophia Smith collection has a lot of cool shit. Months, years, centuries of it. The college archives, you know what's there. Smith college stuff, the history of who, when, and where, and the rare books. You know the written word, the name's Mortimer. I don't know if you heard, the collection is deep, the collection is wide. From medieval manuscript to literary archives, find it all young or just go online. In particular, the oral histories are really fine. Feminists, people of color, reproductive advocates, women of valor, and the social justice activists. I know some of you think, oh, how very, very, to make a rap song about a library was a little bit ballsy for a middle-aged Mary. You thought it was cringe, but au contraire, you have no idea what it took to make me talk and place my middle-aged neck upon that block instead of standing around staring at the clock. I got busy getting honest with myself and with God. Someone had to say it up and spit it out. I probably wouldn't have done it if I had more clout, more money to lose, and a much bigger house, a lot more debt, and a lot more self-doubt. And I don't know if I can pull it off with their billions of dollars, the attorney they've got, but I know what I am and I know what I'm not. I'm not your shill and I can't be bought. I bet you didn't know, no, I bet you didn't figure that the fun stuff here would so absolutely glimmer. We got movies, news, fashion magazines. We got language learning software so you can make the global scene. And on your laptop, the movies people love, indies, drama, stuff you never heard of. Slinky's where you go for the Hollywood flicks. Canopy for when you need a documentary fix, or read about the world in all our magazines. Mother Jones, The Atlantic, Glamour, and Bon Appetit, Rolling Stone, Ebony, and Vanity Fair. We even got the New Yorker. Are any of you from there? And more good news, we got the Washington Post, Philadelphia Inquirer. We really got the most stunning collection from all around the world, from urban cosmopolitan to absolutely rural. Or maybe no news, skip the magazines, maybe comic books or graphic novels are you see. We got plenty of this, plenty of that. Smith Libraries, yeah, it's like that.
Yay, Jodi! Yeah.
I did it! I did it!
You did it! How does that feel that it's been released to the world?
It feels great. It was such a labor of love. I had no idea what I was doing.
Oh my god. Well, I thought you did great. Jeff Horton that says that was remarkable. That's super chat, Jeff. Let's
Thank
see.
you, Jeff.
Yup. Maybe POC should start a meme showing the OK sign to show that it's not racist. Maybe. And then we've got Viking Insane says rapid like Tong Bream. Yes, he started as a rapper.
Oh my god. Nerd rap.
I love it.
Nerd
People in the
rap.
chat are applauding.
Aww.
Oh, Jodi, I thought that was so fun. I did.
Aw, thank you.
I've
Uh,
never
They
heard
should've
better
let
rap
you do
battle
that.
library. They should have.
I know, right?
They
Like,
should have let you do that.
It was perfectly
They
innocent,
should have
and
let
it
you
was
do
like,
that, because that would have
can you-
been perfectly fine. That was a dumb thing to fight about.
Mm-hmm.
But they
Right?
told you you put in all that work, and then they told you couldn't do it because you're white. Did you ever? I guess you wouldn't think about it because you were just so shocked by it. But I would have said, "Well, wasn't I white when you told me I can do it?" Or maybe you weren't. See, we recently met in the last few months, so wrong question. I apologize. Assumption. Were
Assumptions,
you
right?
white when you said you were going to do a rap?
Yes, I was white.
Oh,
then,
you were
too,
still
yes.
white then.
What's amazing to me is how people just assumed that the rap would not be good. You know, like that's what's
That
so
too,
crazy.
yeah.
They said you couldn't do it without. They hadn't heard it though. They could have said, "Hey, I'm a little worried about this. I'd like to hear it first before you perform it." That would have been a reasonable thing. You know, like before we put you on the stage, I'd like
Right.
to hear the rap.
But
That
but
would have
didn't
been
they?
Normal.
Well, so they did. So this is part of the story. Like my supervisors changed during the summer, but the original supervisor said, "Hey, I want to do a rap," and she was like, "Okay." So I sent her a video of me actually doing another rap. Like it won a contest. It was like I did a rap to like it was in library school. Like there was a contest about like to like promote like the Q portfolio. Like you can do whatever you want, a poem or a movie. So I was like, I'm gonna do a rap. So I did this rap. It was like a minute rap, and it won. And I sent it to my supervisor. I was like, here's my skills. Like, here's my nerd rap skills. And she was like, oh. She's like, oh, okay. I didn't get it before, but now I get it. Like, we definitely have to do that. So then my supervisor changed, and my new supervisor, like, was completely uninterested. I mean, everyone knew I was doing rap, and he was just like, whatever, you know? And then it was really that incident. I don't mean to bring everyone down, but the July 31st, 2018, yeah, the incident happened, and that kind of changed the whole thing. But yeah, so I mean, I at least my supervisor and the dean of the libraries, I believe, saw that video, so they were aware that it was not going to be bad. It was not.
Why did it have to be good?
Yeah,
based
right.
on the context.
Right,
based on the context of what you're doing, why did it even have to be good?
I know, right? Like, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, it's the last day of orientation. These students are exhausted. Like, even if it's totally foolish and cringe, they will never forget it.
They'll remember it.
It would have been
They will
fun.
remember it. It would have been fun. They'll remember it, and they'll remember the libraries. They'll remember, oh, that crazy librarian. I can't believe what she did that. You know, like, it would work. It would have worked no matter what.
They should have let you do that.
Imagined wanting to know what you were going to say in the lyrics or something. That's not crazy, you know. But they didn't go that route. They didn't try to find out more information. They just said no, you can't do it because you're white.
Yes, that was what.
Jodi, what do you think they were afraid of? I mean, they weren't afraid. What do you think they were afraid of?
Well, they were afraid of what they were going to be accused of. They were afraid of being accused of appropriation.
Yeah, they were afraid of cultural appropriation.
Racist.
That's what they said.
And the students have all the power, you know, and they give the students that power, and the students use that power, you know, gratuitously, of course, because they're kids and they don't know anything.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of fear-based decision making going on in college administrations, and unfortunately that's what happened to me. And it was really unfortunate because I was up for a permanent position as an outreach and engagement librarian, and the person who told me I couldn't do the rap because you're white happened to be the head of the search committee. So it was really, and there's also this element of like, am I being culturally insensitive? Like, wait a minute, what? Like, and then in like humiliation, because like all these people knew, like I had a big team, like they all knew I was doing a rap, and then there's this person telling me, oh my God, like it could be conceived as cultural appropriation and culturally insensitive. And I was like, oh my God, and I'm up for this job and now I'm culturally insensitive. It was a total mind fuck. I can't even.
I know this is totally after the fact, so of course you get these thoughts. Totally, you know, Monday morning quarterback. I get it. But couldn't you have Milli Vanilli'd it? You put the work in, you had the video, you wrote the rap. Just find some coworker, some black kid, put her up there and just have her go.
That did cross my mind, actually, Charles. You know what else crossed my mind was to just do it anyway. Just be like, okay, I'll do something different. Because the band was like from people from in town. Like they weren't involved. They weren't connected with Smith at all. I thought I should just fucking do it anyway. Just get fired, go to like my swan song, go out in a blaze of glory, you know?
Wow.
Well,
you should have just done it anyway.
I know,
I
right?
done it anyway.
Gabs would have done it. I know.
Been like, fuck
You would have done it.
But you know what? It is actually funny to think about the fallout from all of this. Like, if they had just let you do the rap in the last session, in the last day of freshman orientation, that no one would have ever remembered except for like that it was a crazy librarian doing a rap.
I know.
Like, and because they didn't let you do that, like, look at all of the things that have happened since that very bad decision. Something that could have been nothing would have absolutely just blown over into nothing.
I disagree. Because you're right about the rap. But then they still would have had the whole part where they told her, you know, stood her up in the room and said, "Tell us about your white privilege." All that other stuff still would have happened.
Yeah.
Fair point. Yeah.
Like she said, this is one piece of all the others.
But Charles, I might not have said no to that stuff had the rap not happened.
Had they let you rap?
Had they let me rap, like I might not have been like starting to think, wait a minute, I smell some bullshit here.
It initiates. It initiates the moment, you know.
True.
You put on the glasses.
Yeah, to put on the glasses and they live.
Yeah. And you started to see the aliens, and so that when the aliens came around, you had been made aware to what was going on.
That's true. You can't unsee it once you see it.
Yeah, that is.
She just put the glasses on.
You can't
they live
unsee
is
it.
the ultimate, metaphor for our time. I feel like.
Right. So crazy, right? Because we thought it was so cheesy and silly, but it's like brilliant. It's like the closest thing to Orwell after Orwell, right? It's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Once you see it, you can't go back.
Who's the one that was going to tell us and lead and going to lead us into the next phase?
How do we get more people those glasses then?
That is, you know, I mean, but that was actually
Charles.
what a beautiful transition, Charles, because this is actually exactly what Jodi and I wanted to talk about, because, you know, Jodi showed me this rap, I think like a week ago or so. And, you know, I had a conversation about, about like what she's been thinking about. And it's, you know, I'm shocked that no one's come to this conclusion earlier, but Jodi, please correct me if I say anything like incorrect about like your point of view here, but we are not going to be able to beat back this thing by going like and like passing laws and fighting in the schools and all this. It's too big and it's too far, and it's just like not going to work. And we already know that frankly the teachers are just going to ignore any laws that are passed anyway because they feel like they're untouchable. So really the only way we can beat this thing back is through culture, is through actually doing things like creating music and creating art to influence people to see the world differently. And I think that that's part of what's really interesting about what you did here, is that it is a completely outside the box tactic compared to everything that's been tried so far.
Yeah, it moves beyond the realm of the intellect, really. Because I mean, even if you like think, oh my God, Jodi Shaw, like white supremacist, dun dun dun. Like there's this little, and I granted, I just have to say as a musician, the audio quality was really compromised there. For anyone who's watching, like this will be on Bandcamp, available as a full wave file. So, like even if you like hate what you're hearing, like the lyric, even if the content, like your body kind of wants to move, right? like you're like you can't help it, and so that's the hearts. That's the hearts in the hearts and minds. And I think I think we need to for those who are so inclined, for people.
I can't help but, like I look at this stuff and I listen to, all y'all are academics. I, however, am a high school dropout who was so glad to get out of that shit that I never wanted to go back. So when I had to go and start doing all of this stuff, I'm like, why is everybody in this whole situation stupid? Like all of these academics are just dumb. Like they're so smart that they've swooped back around to stupid again. You know what I mean? Like I mean, at what point are we gonna start saying, I'm not finna argue with you because that's just fucking stupid? You know what I'm saying? Like it's a dumb thing you're saying.
Though, like I'm not an academic either, but I was part of the literary community, and I had like written 8 books, and you would think that people in that world would have their eyes open because they're really exploring what it all means, and they're no better than the academic community. They're like this, they're the same. They don't have any. They all think exactly the same. There's no looking outside of the box. It's utterly bizarre the way people have been able to contort themselves to voice support for things that are so obviously absurd. Just clearly wrong.
Right.
And it's just that's the problem. It's out of academia now. That's actually the biggest problem. If it was just in the academy, I'd be less worried about it.
Yeah, and that's why I think academic measures are not going to work. It's out. The genie's out of the bottle. ... So like we can't use academic means to fight something that's now beyond the ivory gates. Is that how you say it? Ivory tower.
Well, it's interesting too. I'm not sure. I'm wondering. I'm not even sure how we would define academics anymore. And I'm saying this as an academic, but the so-called theories that are being touted are much more faith-based than they are grounded in any sort of rules of academia. And so there is a particular kind of ignorance that comes along with that ideological isolation. I think that Gabs is getting at there. Yeah, right on target. And so I think what's going to happen, maybe what's going to have to happen is academia is not going to be influencing culture. Culture is going to have to influence academia. And at that point, people are going to have to start to wonder about what purpose academia serves.
Well, but in order for that to happen, I mean, we need to get people that are creating things, right? And it feels like, I can't imagine being an artist today because I feel like I would feel incredibly stifled by this environment and by like people picking apart, like especially if I was trying to create a piece of like subversive art, like I feel like it would be completely picked apart and misrepresented almost immediately without even that much effort. So how do we get people to kind of go out on a limb and start putting out more creative works like this? I don't know the answer to that.
I know the answer to that. You tell him, do the shit. And don't give a fuck what anybody else says. That's what you do. You think Quentin Tarantino is sitting there wringing his hands about how many times he said the N-word in his movies? No, he doesn't care. You have to get a attitude that you're not gonna care. So that all of the woke mob is like, well, we can't mess with them because they don't care. Mm-hmm. That's how that's going to stop.
Yeah, I agree, Gabs. The bold approach.
There's that thing. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, put this other Tom McDonald.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean number one Billboard chart. I mean, what else can I say? There's a vacuum now. There's a hunger for authenticity for people who are going to say what they really think. And that's
we
why
were talking about this the other day. You know, like you can't be canceled twice. And the more people are canceled, you know, you have immunity basically afterwards. And eventually, you know how like gay marriage became legal because that crazy conservative guy in Alabama, eventually his sister came out of the closet, or his cousin. Eventually everybody knew somebody who was gay. And now, you know, we're reaching the point where everybody's going to know somebody who's been canceled or who's been falsely accused of something, or whose punishment, whose public humiliation was vastly exceeded their crimes, you know, and I think we might be heading toward that turning point, you know. So,
well, one solution, one thing I think is the problem is that we're not going after the people we need to go after. And Jodi and I have talked about this before. Now, you can use it through arts and creativity or whatever, but who are you talking to, right? Because I think no one, politically, academics, no one's really talking to the normals, right? As Gabs points out, those are the people, there's more of them. They get that this is bad, but they're like off living their lives and trying to pay the bill and not paying attention. But we need to reach them because you can't really blame the academics, even though they do some crazy messed up stuff. Because what they're doing is it's groupthink. We're all thinking the same way. We're exchanging papers. We're reading each other's books. We think alike. But the reason I say you don't blame them is because it's no different than what police officers do or people in the restaurant industry where I worked for 20 years. We all, like nomads, we all traveled together. We all went out to drink and do the same things. It's all occupational stuff. So everybody's sitting around in their little bubble saying, I know this really well. I'm a surgeon. I hang out with other surgeons and we talk all this medical stuff. But if you ask me about normal stuff, I have no idea because that's not what I'm focused on. But that's only a small group of people, even journalists. There's only so many journalists, right? 330 million people. How many of them are journalists at major publications? It's not that many. So how do we read? Now, we may need art or some other form to shift the culture, but the average people I talk to who are non-political look at this stuff and they're like, well, what is this you're talking about? I hear all this noise up here about CRT. How do I know it's bad or good? Well, read what they say. And they read it and say, well, that's just stupid. You're right, black, white, it doesn't matter. They're not trying to support Trump. They're not trying to beat up on anybody or anything. They just look at what's said and say, this makes absolutely no sense. Mm-hmm. That's the key, but how do we reach them?
And yet it still seems to really get into people's brains. Like the minute, I had pretty much all of my friends go insane after they read White Fragility and become pod people. And these are smart people. These were not academics. These were not, but they're smart people. And it's like, I feel like a lot of times when people get exposed to this stuff, it sucks them in. And I think, the question is like, how do we start to wake more people up? And, I think everyone that's woken up and has red pilled to some extent, we all have that kind of moment that we can, I remember mine like yesterday, I was like, okay, that's not quite right. And I'm gonna think about that. We all have that moment. And maybe Jodi, was like you getting told you couldn't do a rap because you were white. But how can we start to facilitate more of those moments? Because I feel like it's just happening by happenstance right now.
Now you're going to make me say bad news before I was giving you good news. The bad news. But Jodi, because you and I talk about that, I said that I commend all those people who have been, as you say, red pilled and understand this stuff and fight. But unfortunately, it's human nature. We're all concerned about the cancel culture. We're concerned about our job and our family. So we don't act until we're pushed to. Yes. Like one example I use is Brett Weinstein. I love what he's doing. I give him all the credit in the world. But if they didn't tell him to get off campus, he would not have said a word.
Mm-hmm.
It's
right?
true.
So, but we
Yeah.
can't wait for 100 million people to get pushed to the point that they have to fight
You know,
back.
It's
you
true.
know,
It's
one
true.
thing.
Sorry, go
Okay.
ahead, Aaron.
Well, I was saying that
Oh,
one thing
Steven.
that I always do if I know somebody or I have any relation with them at all, like if I even know them 3 steps removed, and I'm talking about the literary world here, so it's like a place where cancel culture is just a raging bonfire. If I see somebody that get canceled or get mobbed, I reach out to them immediately, and I talk to them, and I try to put them in touch with resources, people who have already been through it. There are best practices around this stuff,
Right.
and like it's extremely important that people who are going through it speak to someone who has already been through it, because mobs are identical. Everybody thinks their situation is really unique, but every time a mob forms, it behaves in exactly the same way. So you've got to talk to somebody who's been mobbed to understand what is happening to you and how best to deal with it and what to expect. So I reach out to people immediately, with that information and those resources, and we can all do that.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
I second that.
I think it does, but I think the thing I'm always thinking about is how do we get those people that that they haven't gotten to that point of speaking up or inadvertently stepping in it yet. Where because I hear from these people all day, every day. Like they DM me, they're like, "Carlin, I love what you're doing, but I just can't do it because I'm afraid of my kids getting ostracized or losing my job or any of these things," because they watch this stuff and they're afraid of getting canceled. Even though I think what I would say, and I disagree with whoever said you could only get canceled once. I've gotten canceled like 3 times in the last year and a half.
White power symbol. I see it.
Oh God! But like whatever. But like the thing of it is like the fear of getting canceled. I think is actually worse than getting canceled. As long as you have people that do kind of like reach out to you and support you. And I wish there were ways to get people to see that.
Yeah. It's not that easy. I think you just got to have conversations with everyone. What I do is I talk to everybody, the whole don't talk about politics and religion at work and in these spaces and families everywhere. If I get in an Uber, if I get a cup of coffee, everywhere I have those conversations. But it's not blunt and in your face. It's just if they say something, if you notice something, you'll say, "Oh, what makes you wear that pen?" I notice that you're reading that book. Did you ever read this? Or what do you think of? Just having conversations. You got to plant seeds because and you need everybody to do it because this is a big thing. But they're going to be afraid.
I think a lot of it's chemistry, which Charles, you excel in. I'm
a chemist.
It's good chemistry. But also like I don't know. I've just been thinking a lot about this lately, about like this notion of fighting against, right? Woke, I guess this hand being woke, versus this more positive approach of like reinforcing what's the word? Bastion, bulwark, firmament? No, firmament isn't right. Reinforcing, like creating something that's so cool that people can't resist it. That people who are miserable, who are suffering, who are they don't even notice it, but they're self-policing themselves, and then they see these people over here who are having so much fun and doing such cool things, and they're like, I kind of want to do that. That's kind of that's just a more it's a process of building capital, not, you know what I mean? I sorry to be another downer here, but I can't think of there's this notion in the addiction world of capital, and I don't know the right term because I'm not that much of a nerd in addiction studies, but of a drug addict who they don't want to quit until it's very hard to quit a drug that's very addictive unless you have something that's better than the drug, right? And to speak to Stephen's point about the mob, this primal impulse to join the mob, if you have a better alternative, you're going to
something to replace it.
Right. You're going to gravitate towards that. And so I've started to shift my thinking in a way to that kind of thing. How can we create something that is so cool that it's irresistible? that you want in how do you do that? Like, I mean, Michael Jackson, like Billie Jean, like you can't help but move your body. I mean, I can't help it. Like I hear that song and I just start to move my body, and like people are like, oh, well, he's a, he did this and that, and it's like, I can't help it. I like the song, like it's just, it's the like attracting rather than just fighting.
I think it's interesting. You guys bring up two awesome points, because like one is like retail politics, door to door, person to person, one person at a time, which is how all the best fundraisers work. It's not about getting your message out there broadly. It's a vertical dimension, one person at a time, educating. And then the other side, and that's like, the push. And then Jodi's talking about the pull, of like, we're having a party, like, you got Dave Chappelle over here making this amazing comedy.
Yeah.
You got these podcasts with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
You got Jodi Shaw making awesome music, and you want to like listen to that stuff and participate in that.
You want to be in on it. Yeah.
So there's push and there's pull, and they're both effective. But those are, I think, probably two of the best means that we have at our disposal to fight this. And I think you're both right, and they're both awesome ideas.
So let's focus on the I like the pull theory.
They're not mutually exclusive.
I think that's my power source.
You can do
I think
both, but they're both.
Yeah, I
really
think you
good.
can do both, but some people are different and uniquely situated and talented in one area or another.
Well, Jodi, I got a question before we started the stream that I wanted to make sure I asked you, and I wasn't aware that this was actually a thing, but apparently, like, were you a question in a national quiz bowl tournament or something like that? Do you know about this? Is this real? Because the questioner asked, does Jodi feel that being asked about at a national quiz bowl tournament means that she's made it into more mainstream relevancy?
I was not aware of that. What's a quiz bowl?
And did the person get the answer right?
Wait, what?
That's the question.
What did you say, Charles?
I said, did the person get the answer right? Did they know what they needed to know to win?
Well, they were probably like, who the fuck is Jodi Shaw? Fucking librarian at Smith College.
They're gonna know.
Well, I mean, but your story, to be real though for a second, like your story was covered in Rolling Stone. Can you get more?
That's
into,
what
like,
I said.
Culture? It's like,
well, the rap story was covered by Rolling Stone. Yes.
Hey,
I hope they cover this part of the rap story. The Rolling Stone follow-up. The rap is good.
We shall see.
Jen has a question.
That's front page news.
Yeah, Jen has a question.
So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about these, accusations that get thrown at people about co-opting other cultures. And I'm thinking, what if you were Black, but what you had wanted to do was to perform a piece composed by Beethoven? Do you think you would have been accused then of cultural appropriation?
I'm a Black man. Let me speak here. Jennifer, I love your name is friend. I'm love. Blacks can't culturally appropriate. Can't do it. Can't be done. I said blacks can't culturally appropriate. Can't do it. Can't be done. They can do no wrong, basically. You can't question what they do. What do you mean? How dare you? I mean, in fact, they may have gone so far and said, that's so great, Black Jodi. You're Black Jodi now. Black Jodi, I'm so great you did it. Because I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line, Mozart or Beethoven stole that music from you. Fight the power.
Well, but to be real though, hang on. To be real though, like haven't like Mozart and Beethoven been sampled in rap songs?
Of course.
I feel like that's definitely
But, I mean,
right?
Beethoven's was a disco song, remember?
Nas, Furry Leaves.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Do you like that song?
Led
Yes?
Zeppelin. Like
Oh yeah,
all
P. Diddy
kinds
did
of
that
white
one.
Artists, yes.
Oh,
all
yeah.
kinds of white artists have been sampled by Black musicians.
All
and
art.
Right.
That's what I was
But
getting ready to
Jennifer
say.
making a specific point though about blacks though, so it's a little
Right.
different. Everybody does it, but blacks never get questioned. I gotta say, my favorite R&B group is the Isley Brothers, and every one of their hits was basically Seals and Crofts, James Taylor. They remade every folk singer from the '60s, everyone and '70s, every one of them, and
They
nobody
did.
says a word. Don't Let Me Be Lonely Tonight. They've done them all. Summer Breeze. People stood.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't question.
why? You know why? Because Bach, it's very mathematic. Classical music is like really, especially Bach, but I mean, it's very like,
right.
And so is rap. Spitting is mathematical in a way. I mean, it's gut, it's instinct, but it's like, it's rhythmic. And so is classical music. They're actually very, very related in my mind. I think they are. And that's why black artists sample classical music.
Oh, but that's true when you get to the music thing. But Jennifer's making a more important point, and it's unfortunate because basically what they're saying, the reason is, I was joking around, but the real reason why Black Jodi wouldn't have been quit.
Black Jodi.
The real reason Black Jodi wouldn't have been questioned is because they think less of us as black. They think we don't have agency. They'll just be shocked. They would never say it to Black Jodi, but behind Black Jodi's back, they would say, "I'm just shocked the colored girl knows how to
Do it."
Bach.
Yes, and I'm just so because I listen to classical music daily. I listen to Puccini at dinner every single night. Like I love classical music. Yes.
No Wagner, no. We can't listen to Wagner anymore.
I'm super excited about Wagner anyway, but
I won't say why, but I think everyone knows.
Right. But you know, I one of the very first live shows that I took my oldest son to was to see the Pirates of Penzance, because I used to go to the opera. I had so I took him to see the Pirates of Penzance in Fort Worth when we lived in Fort Worth. And you know, I listened. So when me and my boyfriend got together, he was like, he's Italian, so he was like, "You listen to Puccini like regularly?" I'm like, "Every single day. I listen to Puccini every day." And you know, he was like shocked by that, and I was like, you know, black folks listen to all kinds of shit, motherfucker. We can listen to whatever.
Don't you tell me what I'm listening
Surprise.
Blacks have ears too.
Allowed to listen to anything, and this is what I would say, because I say this kind of thing to all the because it makes me annoyed. The woke white people make me annoyed more than anything, because they're trying to help so much that they've denied us our agency. You know what I'm saying? And so I go up, and I will tell them, okay, so we need your help. So go on over to that group of black folks and ask them if you need them, if they need you to help them get a driver's license, and go and ask them. If you think they're so incapable, then go and ask them, see what they'll say. Like, these are the kinds of things that make me annoyed with this woke stuff, is that black people are not supposed to be enlightened enough to have experiences beyond the ghetto, and then white people can't appreciate what comes from the ghetto, from those experiences. That is stupid. That is just dumb. Everybody, it enriches our culture as humans, as the human race, that we all interact and that we all develop something new from that interaction. That's how cultures evolve. That's how wonderful things are created. And when you squelch that, you squelch progress. And this whole progressive movement is progressing us backwards, in the sense that it's creating a barrier between what we are now and what we could be if we intermingled more.
I agree. Well, I will say this though. I was walking through the airport a couple weeks ago, and I saw a black guy wearing a hat. I don't know the name of the hat. The hat from Asia that looks like a triangle. Do you guys know what I'm saying? That type of hat. I swear to God, I almost pointed and screamed cultural appropriation. I said just I don't think it would have gone over too well, though. Jeff Horton says your movement is gaining exposure. It's manic, depressive, emotionally. There are wins and losses, and the investment is large. So the highs and the lows are large. Gab's got it right. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know the truth. The truth will win. I have to say that
it takes a Gabs to speak it.
Yeah, well,
Right.
I almost think that that's true. It's like, but I mean, as much as like the idealist in me wants to believe, like the what is it, like the arc of history bends towards justice. I do question. I almost question if that's the case here, because I mean, the truth is that the winner writes the history books. And I mean, whoever wins this little culture war that's going, I shouldn't say little, it's a 40+ year culture war. It's not a little war. But whoever wins this is going to write the story of this time. And, if the woke win, then, I mean, they're going to write a very different version of history than what I think anyone here would write.
Well, that's true, but they fail. Well, we have common sense in the win. A path to win on our side is human nature. They kind of ignore it. But it can't be changed. So they can say whatever they want to say. They can say blacks do this and do this and we're changed. They can say whatever they want. But all these people that we're mad at because they're not speaking up, and if we got them to speak up, they would know. They still know. So behind closed doors, they know this is BS, and they're going to call it. So if the woke won and they got to write the history books, there will still be a majority of people out there that just were totally against what they were trying to push, and eventually the pendulum will swing back. I just think it's going to get ugly before it happens. It will reach, because if they won and they wrote the history book, now more people would get pushed out. So you would have 1,000 Jodi Shaws and maybe 500 Black Jodis, and then you'd have 1,000 Brett Weinsteins, and so you would have multiples of all these people who are now speaking up. You would have multiples of them, and you wouldn't be able to stop it, because human nature says we're not going to allow you to just do the things that they do and act as if it's normal, or act as if your fake made up feelings are truth. It's just going to take a while. Why are you always laughing at me? I have feelings, There's got to be a law, and there's got to be like a woke law against laughing at a black guy. Every time I talk to you, you're laughing at me. I don't understand. On air, you laughed at me on air. I have it on tape.
Such a racist. Oh my God.
Wait, really? No wonder they kicked you out of that. No wonder they kicked you out of that school. The way you treat the blacks.
That was the real thing. She was just laughing at everybody all the time.
Now we know, right?
I had to get rid of her.
I'm just laughing at everybody all the time.
She just laughed at everybody.
Sorry, blacks, they're so funny. Come on, get it out, Black Joe.
Blacks are so funny.
Now you're making me. Blacks are so funny. Can I quote you?
Don't cry.
Blacks are so funny. That's a direct quote.
See, Jodi's about to experience cancellation number 2 after this stream. So that's about to happen.
I didn't think it was possible.
If you don't remember, Jodi Shaw, the rapping library from Smith College, was recorded the other day saying, and I quote, "Blacks are funny."
Stop.
I'm just giving you the headline. That's the headline.
Stop. Oh,
okay.
man. This is why I wanted you. This is why. This is why we needed Charles here.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we need a moment of levity.
But yes, pendulum swinging back. It will swing back.
That's
maybe.
That's
maybe sometimes it takes a generation or two.
Oh, I didn't say tomorrow. We're going to be screwed before it happens. Oh, it's going to get uglier. More you white people go, I'm going to own some of your homes before it's over. But, the price we have to pay. The price we have to pay to save the country.
I think about this a lot. I think about the president of Smith College, and I'm like, okay, she lives in a mansion. And I'm like, the end of social justice, right? I mean, in the first sentence of the book they gave me, which is, I can't remember the title of the book, it's like Teaching for Social Justice or something. The first sentence is the equal distribution of resources or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, how is it going to fly with this mansion that the president lives in? Like, does she understand what that means?
But that's the thing. That's why this is so great, because they don't believe what they're really saying. They just feel good. So when it comes to them, then what are they going to do? That's why I know for a fact, I don't need to be a PhD. I know human nature. That's all I need to know. I know that as we get wokier and wokier, we give the angry people more power. As they get more power, they want more. Remember, BLM just wanted the police to stop hitting people in the face. I'm like, that makes sense. Police shouldn't be hitting people in the face. Then they went from don't hit them in the face, don't shoot them, even if they're shooting at you. Just get shot, cop. What's the big deal? You signed up for this. Then that wasn't good enough. Then it was like, we need Juneteenth off. And then they're like, they gave it to us. I didn't think they were really going to give it to us. What do I do now? Ask for some more shit. All right. We need all the CEOs to be black. All right, we can do that. I'm going to step down. They all start stepping down. And then they're just going to keep asking for more stuff till eventually they say, Smith's college president, give me your house. And then everybody's like, how did we get here?
It's like, wait a minute, what?
Listen,
Chip, grab your musket. We have to fight back. We got to save our country.
listen, you're laughing, but that's exactly what's going to happen. That is
Only
precisely
a matter of
what's
time.
going to happen.
It's true.
They'll be like, Colin, why didn't you tell me this a year ago? I tried to tell you.
You were all telling me I was a Nazi.
Where's a good Nazi when we need him is what they're going to say.
Exactly.
I mean, let's face it. They can say all the stuff they feel good emotionally. What do you honestly believe that woman wants to give up her house? Do you honestly believe that? Name the A-list actor. I don't know, Jennifer Aniston, who says, whoever, Julianne Moore, who said all blacks are dying in the street, is going to come to me and say, Charles, I feel sorry for you as a black man. Here's the keys to my car, and I'm selling all my possessions, and I'm going to go live on the beach. Nobody's doing that. So they do what they do what they say feels good to make us say, look at what I did. You all know the idiots that were like, we apologize for getting
Sean
married
Rogan.
on a
Wait, what's his
plantation.
name?
You mean Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen, yeah.
Right. But who's the one?
Seth Rogen.
Come on, you know him. Ryan, one of the Ryans. His wife got married on the plantation.
Gosling?
Not Gosling.
No, Reynolds.
Oh, right.
Reynolds. Yeah,
Yes.
they got married on the plantation. He's apologizing. What? Because it's silly, but let's be real. He's apologizing because it cost him nothing. He gets street cred. They think he cares. He didn't have to write a check. He didn't have to give up any. He had to stop doing movies. His lifestyle was the same. He just apologized for getting married on a plantation. My bad. And everybody's like, okay. When they have to start giving stuff up, then it's a whole different ballgame. I just wanted to make you all feel better and show that I cared. I didn't want to give you stuff. So
Wait, hang on. Hey, I have a story that's completely relevant to everything Charles just said. So several months ago, has anyone seen the show Evil that was on? It's on CBS, I think. It's a dumb show, but me and my husband started watching this show on Netflix at some point just to have something on. And this first couple episodes they were fine. They you didn't have to pay attention really because it wasn't that smart of a show. And then we get to the 5th or 6th episode, and they're in a hospital. And the show Evil is all about paranormal, having something to do with police work. I don't remember exactly, but they were in a hospital, and the person that was at the center of this episode was a black lady, and she was dead, and she was in the morgue, and she came back to life from the morgue. And when that happened, the doctor was like, it's not a miracle, it's institutional racism. And at that point, I screamed at my husband to turn it off because I was vetoing this particular choice. And I tweeted about all of this. Well, about 3 weeks after I tweeted about this, the star of the show started a fight with me on Twitter and started calling me a horrible racist because I was not on board with this idea of someone coming back to life in a paranormal activity show was the result of institutional racism, because that's obviously not what it is. It's the coming back to life. And so I got in a fight with this woman until I got to the point where I said, okay, so when can I expect you to give up your role and give it to a black trans woman? Because that's really what we're talking about. And when are you going to turn over your house to a black person too? Because I think you live in a pretty nice house. And that's when she stopped responding at all.
Wow. Well, of course.
Twitter, man.
Is there anything out there that's mainstream right now that's, Charles, that you would consider more real? Like, is anyone having this conversation outside of Jodi Shaw's new video?
There's
Well,
people.
it just broke, so you know.
I mean, you have
Give it some
great,
time.
You have some great comedians.
Well, there are people having
Well,
conversations, but
right. Sure.
mainstream though is pretty hard. I mean, most of the media, most of corporate America is full in. I mean, but you can see the cracks. But they're just so bad about what they do. It's Pride Month. Put up flag. Keep doing the same shit. It's Black History Month. Find a quote or about from a black guy. Or find a poem from some black guy. Put it up. Keep doing the same thing. So they don't really change who they are because they're humans. They want to make money. They do that kind of thing. But if they see they can get profit off of it or they can push that agenda, they continue to do it. But the people pushing back against it, I think they're kind of at this point after election, they're kind of like taking a step back to reassess and figure out what the next attack will be. I think people will kind of find their way and find ways both in media across the board to find ways to attack this. But yeah, she made that point about evil. I would challenge, and I say this on a regular basis now, watch ABC, NBC, and CBS, regular TV, regular scripted TV. Watch all the police or procedural shows, your Rookie, Chicago PD, Blue Bloods, Law and Order, SVU, all those. It's fascinating. It's hilarious. Watch it. Every single episode is about a white supremacist. I mean,
No
how
way,
many
really?
can there really
Oh.
be? I mean, but we have institutional racism. All the criminals are now white supremacists. Yet everybody who runs every city on these TV shows, if it's the mayor or the police chief or the actual main character police officer, is a person of color. And we're not supposed to think this is by design. We're supposed to think this is normal. So every FBI agent is a Muslim or a woman, and every director is black, but all the criminals are white supremacists, and that's just cool. That's just normal. That's going to fix the country by just portraying every white as either a white supremacist or some evil hedge fund manager who stole everybody's money, left Granny homeless, took her home, and then ran away. Right. So they got their thing in order. It's what we're going to do to kind of offset.
Well, I will say I think they know exactly how many white supremacists are. There's 74 million white supremacists according to that side.
No, you said according to the Trump support. No, but according to white fragility, there's how many white people again?
Oh,
there's
you're right.
264 million.
All of the white people
it's
are.
all
You're
of you.
right.
You don't get off the hook.
I know, exactly. So, Quantum Football update. Quiz Bowl is a really academic team trivia competition, and unfortunately, the Jodi Shaw question was missed. They didn't get you right, Jodi. I didn't write it, and I was surprised to hear her name come up, but you were featured
from Smith College
on a quiz show.
What was the question, though?
Oh,
who's the rapping white supremacist from Smith College?
No way.
No, I'm making that up. I'm sorry. I'm making it up.
We got to go back and find this quiz show. That has to happen.
Like, what's the quiz show? I'm
I
sure.
wanna
it was
be
I think
on
it's
a
called
quiz
Quiz
show.
Bowl.
Yeah, it's Quiz Bowl.
Yeah, Quiz Bowl. I've never watched it.
Quiz Bowl. Okay.
I want to be the
Wow.
answer on a quiz bowl show.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty amazing.
You might
so
be.
fly.
You might well be soon, Gabs.
Right.
We'll
right.
see. We'll see.
You know
But
what?
That's what you wish for.
so,
But,
Jodi, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just
I
gonna
didn't
talk
have a
about Eminem. Like I've been listening to a lot of rap lately. It's I don't know what it is. Like it's just serendipitous or synchronicity. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But Eminem talks about being white. I don't know where I'm going with this, but actually, yeah, I really don't know where I was going with this.
I think you were trying to point out that it's white.
Yeah, white.
White.
So, Steven turned me on to MC Lars, which was a big influence for me in terms of nerd rap. Thank you, Steven.
I really do listen to nerd rap. It wasn't just a joke.
Yeah, and I mean, like, rap, one of the things that I communicated to my supervisor at the time was that rap is, like, actually a relatively new genre, right? In this long history going back to Homer, basically, when, like, bards would play lyres or whatever and, like, sing their poems. This is like a long history. Like it's not just like from the 70s of like Wu-Tang Clan or whatever in the Bronx. Like this is This is like a long, like spoken word set to music is actually like a long thing. And somebody earlier mentioned Gilbert and Sullivan, and I actually sent it. Right, it was you, Gabs.
Pirates
yeah.
of Penzance.
Yeah, Pirates of Penzance. It's called Patter Song. It's called
Yeah.
Patter Song. And I actually forwarded that to my supervisor because I was like, holy shit, like, because I never advertised it as a rap. I advertised this as a musical. And which it was a musical, and it was advertised as a musical presentation of the libraries. And so I said to him, like it was never advertised as rap per se, if that's the issue. It was just a musical. It's spoken word set to music. And I sent him like the Wikipedia, like a screenshot from Wikipedia, like Gilbert and Sullivan, Pirates of Penzance. And he I don't know if I should tell this story, but he actually okay, I'm going to tell a story. He said, I would like you to perform the rap and videotape it so that I can show it to somebody else and we can determine basically if we consider it a rap or not. So in a fluorescent lit room, I went and I performed the rap and he videotaped it, and he went to a black colleague. Now, I don't know, maybe it's just coincidence that she was black, but he asked, apparently he was consulting with her to determine if it could be perceived as a rap, and she determined that yes, it could be perceived as a rap. And so once again, we run into this idea of that black people are monolith and they all think the same, right? Like and so this supposedly because she has black skin, she's an expert on rap. We've talked about this. And so she determined that yes, it could be perceived as a rap. And then he came back and reported to me, yes, we've reviewed the videotape and it could be perceived as a rap, and therefore you cannot do it. But I did communicate, Gabs, that this could be perceived as a patter song, Gilbert and Sullivan, which precedes rap, and going all the way back to Homer and Odysseus or whatever, that spoken word set to music is actually like a very old tradition, and that somehow that did not convince him. So.
No, why would it?
Did you let him listen to Modern Major General? Like, you didn't let him listen to that?
I should have sent him the MP3. You're right. I should have just sent that to him. I don't think it would have convinced him. Because it's all about image at this point and fear. So it's not about reality.
Well, it's not. And speaking of it being all about image and fear, Naruto sends us an update. Carlin, the editor of the large JAMA, stepped down today, and people are pushing for the spot to be filled with the right person of color. And yes, I can confirm that top editor to step down after colleagues questioned whether racism exists in healthcare, and he did not give the right answer for that.
Well, at least they're walking the walk. They're talking the talk. They're Did you see that meme out? Like, be the quit and equity. Who released that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Lindsay.
I love
that was
that.
James Lindsay.
Yeah, I love that.
Who made that? Was that Woke
James
Temple?
Lindsay? I think it was.
Made that?
Was it Woke Temple or?
I don't know, but like somebody made it as like be the quit and equity. And it was like, yeah,
Yep.
if you're gonna talk the talk, walk the walk. Like you want
know what?
POC
This shit
to
would
be
be over if they did that too, because all the
Yep.
stupid people would be out of the way,
reality.
and then somebody smarter can come along.
Right.
No.
This is gonna get crazy.
It is going to get crazy. One last super chat here. Mathematics says Tom McDonald's rap song "White Boy" is awesome. The dude is incredibly talented. Yes, Tom McDonald is great.
He is talented. He's coming out with a new video on Friday.
Oh.
And I think it has to do with this stuff.
I hope so. All right. I mean, does anyone else have any topics that they feel that we should address for the good of the order today? I know we did our little watch party. We had a little conversation. What have we missed so far? Jodi has descended into darkness.
Wait, I have?
No, you're fine. You're
yeah,
fine.
it's dark in here. I have no light. I think I just want to say to all the creative people out there that we need you. And we need you to say what you mean and mean what you say.
But don't say it
And-
mean.
But don't say it mean. Yeah, you don't, if it's effective enough, you don't need to say it mean. It doesn't need to be mean.
No.
Like if it's humble enough and like real enough, it doesn't need to be mean. If it's authentic, that's all you need. People are starving for authenticity. And I think the further we go into woke, the less authentic we are becoming. And so authentic is where it's at. And it's hard to be authentic. It's an act of courage to be authentic. And so if you're a creative person, do what you do best. Like I actually made a tweet about this. Leave the intellectual debate to the intellectuals, because I can't necessarily explain. I mean, I probably could if challenged, all the complexities of CRT, but I can see the outcome. The outcome is that it's mean. It's mean and it's wrong. That's what I see. It's mean, it's wrong. And I don't need to know the mechanisms or how it works to be able to see that. It's mean, it's wrong, and I think we all know that. And I think
We do.
like, yeah, we do. It's not right. And for the creatives out there, like, stand up, and that small voice inside you that's telling you something's not right, listen to it. Listen to it. Don't doubt it.
And don't wait for them to come after you.
And
Yeah, and they might
you
come after you. Just
Right.
ignore them.
It's not that bad. It's really not that bad.
It's
You're gonna
not.
get through it. You will survive. I promise
You will. If I can do it, I changed my YouTube banner. I consulted with Carlin. If I can do it, so can you.
Yeah.
And if Gabs can do it, so can you.
Everyone.
I am pretty amazing, but
Gabs is amazing. Gabs is amazing, and blow
Everyone here.
and blow expectations, like and assumptions, because this whole movement, this whole woke thing is about assumptions. It's about like ingraining assumptions and adhering to assumptions about people. Like, we want to have our assumptions blown. Isn't that like the moment of glory? Like when you see, like, who's that woman on like the X Factor? God, what's her name?
Boyle, Susan Boyle.
Boyle,
Right?
yes.
Was that her?
Oh,
She
yeah.
got up and like Simon's like laughing at her and like everybody's like snicker. And then she opens her mouth and you're like, holy shit. Like there's something really transcendent about that moment. And that's like that's our higher self. And that's what we want to strive for.
Way to go, Black Jodi.
Excellent.
Thank you, Charles, for christening me Black Jodi. I'm going to change my Twitter profile to be Black Jodi.
Nothing
I would
could go wrong with that
I
plan.
would suggest you don't do that. I am on record saying I did not tell her to do that.
Dash Charles Love. She's the new Black Jodi.
Said, why am I getting canceled? Charles told me it was okay. I did not. I said no such thing. Do
By the
not
way,
do that.
Charles has a new show.
Oh yeah? What's your show, Charles?
Oh, the Cut the Bull podcast with Wilfred Riley and Shamika Michelle. And you check it out.
I love Shamika. Shamika is one of my favorite people in the world.
Well, you should check out this show. You should come on and be one of the guest co-hosts. And
Yes.
we have a guest come in and join us every week. Jodi's going to come on somewhere down the
I
line.
am in July, I think.
Yeah, I think Colin Wright is next, and we've had
Yeah, you want liberals.
we had
fresh meat.
we had Sasha White on, who's been canceled. You know,
Yeah.
what a
Canceled liberals.
Right, get some interesting people on to talk about some interesting things. But it's fun. Shamika is, I mean, you say you love Shamika. This is completely, you think she's naked. This is complete. Oh, every episode, she has a way to get but catch us all off guard. Where our mouths just drop open. We're just like, what did she just say?
Oh, I know because I toured with her. Well, I toured with Shamika with Walkaway for all summer and fall, basically.
That's
And
right.
every single week, Shamika would show up. She'd be like, "I don't really know what I'm going to say in my rally speech, and I haven't thought of anything yet." And we're like, "Okay, Shamika." And then she gets up there and throws down the most amazing original speech every single week. And we were just like, "You need to stop fronting. You're like practicing this at 3 a.m. or
It
something.
has
Like,
to be.
something's going on."
Well, we're 5 weeks in, and she is awesome in every episode. And we're all a mix. You see how I talk. Will's a PhD in political science, but so he has his
Oh,
approach, and
yeah.
Shamika. So the three of us together, it's just awesome. And then we bring somebody else on. So the four personalities work well, and I think that people should
I
definitely
can't
check it
wait.
out.
You should
You
have
should all
Gabs
come on. You should all
should
come
have
on.
Gabs
Yeah.
We'll all do a rotation.
Shamika thinks I have potential.
Oh, that's what she's saying.
Does anybody get that quote?
Yeah.
It's a Fiona Apple quote.
I love it. I love it. Well, does anyone have anything else they'd like to share with the folks who are watching about what you're working on or where they can find you? Let's just, I don't know. I don't know what everyone's working on right now, but
Yeah, what's everybody working on?
I'm working on
Gabs.
saving the country.
You are, Charles. Gabs, what are you doing? Tell us about your tour.
Well, that was just a one day. It was like 4 hours. I did a radio tour with Fox News radio shows around the country. It was like 19. It was like 19 radio shows in like a 4-hour period.
Wow.
And some of them are posted on my Twitter. It's just me going, forget them, sue them. That's just basically all of that over and over again. That's just me saying it over and over again. But yeah, no left turn in education. I mean, one of the things that has been kind of trending on Twitter, especially today, is that parents are not as brave, when they're realizing what's happening in this woke world and with CRT and social emotional learning, stuff like that. And No Left Turn is really picking up some steam on that front. And if you can follow me on Twitter or go to noleftturn.us. You can also find them on Facebook. There are 20-something chapters throughout the country. And if there's not a chapter in your state, then start one in your state.
That's
and
Atlanta.
Also hit my donation, because it is very expensive to file a lawsuit, and it's hard.
Yeah,
And we're
support
hustling
Gabs
right now.
yeah.
Support Gabs. These people who are filing lawsuits, it's not easy, and like these are going to be potential precedents, and are really important precedents. So support us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I had a longer list outside the podcast and my radio show, The Charles Love Show, and a scholar at 1776 Unites. I'm also the executive director of Seeking Educational Excellence, and we work with Goldwater in filing these lawsuits, in addition to creating curricula that opposes the 1619 and critical race theory stuff. Because you got to give something to the teachers to give them when you say don't give them that, what do I give them? And so I don't sleep. So that's what I do.
I hear you. I actually owe 1776 Unites an email, so that was a good reminder there.
I was never worried that you might sleep, Charles.
I'll sleep when the wokies are gone, right?
Yeah.
But
It's like
no.
it's like like 28 days later.
Exactly.
I will say I have been thinking about that a lot lately. Like, well, not lately. Like for the past 5 or 6 years. Like, why are zombie movies so popular? Good question.
Are you tying it to them? Are you saying it has something to do with this awakening that they're doing?
These people are like woke zombies. They all use the same terminology.
Which is
we need to have difficult conversations. All this stuff. They're just like they're the woke zombies.
That's why we need the They Live glasses, so we can see them
Do
coming.
that again, Jen.
Charles, can I quote you? Can I put on my Twitter feed? Like, can I put on like my Twitter profile like Black Jodi Charles Love?
Oh, as long as you quoted me, don't do it without the quote. But no, this is the funny thing. So you put it on there, and you could say quote Charles Love, but it's really small, so no one can see it. It's like, no, look at the magnifying glass. It was a quote. It wasn't me.
Can I put in parentheses like he's black?
Yeah.
He's black, and they said it's okay. I don't know.
Jodi, please do that.
But it's funny though, because when you came on the show, I think I called you White Jodi. So this is the opposite version. Right? Before I was like, so remember I was like, so even if, I mean, what can you do? I can't control. I think I was saying something about. I just remember it was funny, but I can't worry about what I can't control. So if White Jodi wants to go around saying she doesn't like black people, what am I supposed to do? Let White Jodi be a racist. So now you graduated to Black Jodi. See,
you graduated up the hierarchy.
Coming up, right? Pretty soon you'll be able to, take somebody else's house or something.
Cool.
Get some reparations.
Stephen, Jen, Aaron, do you guys have anything you're working on that you want to share for the good of the order?
Yeah, sure. I'm super, super busy at Counterweight, which you can find at counterweightsupport.com. And Counterweight is an organization that offers resources and advice to people that are suffering due to critical race theory and critical social justice in their schools or workplace. And we also offer emotional support. And I'm the peer support lead, and we do individual listening sessions, and we're also running groups, building community of people that have suffered due to this, and now we're all supporting each other and getting through it.
Jen has been a very big help to me.
Aww.
And I continue to hear wonderful things about the listening sessions that Counterweight is doing and that emotional support, and it just being a godsend for a lot of people.
Yeah,
I'm actually...
They're lovely people, and they've all been through a rough time, and they're just brave, great, independent thinkers and very ethical people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very ethical. I've been doing listening sessions for Counterweight. That's how I'm now officially involved with Counterweight.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Aaron, Stephen, how about you guys? The white men are last.
Of course,
they've learned their place.
Do they even get to speak? They can hold up a sign, maybe.
Why are they here?
Maybe. On the other hand, we have to follow Gabs and Charles too. I'm working on a book about the encroachment of critical social justice into therapy and why that's such a bad idea. Good. And I think it's the first book of this kind, and I'm working on that with Val Thomas. And it should be out next year. And
that's impressive. I'm
spending my days typing away on that, trying to articulate some of these views and have those difficult conversations, Jen.
I didn't know that, Aaron.
That's awesome.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Val and I are editing it. So there's lots and lots of therapists who are concerned about, and who should be, that CRT is essentially encouraging psychotherapists to become ideological predators, to use people whose ego states have been compromised by difficult circumstances as an opportunity to spread an ideology. It's a horrendous thing that this is finding its way into psychotherapy. It's got absolutely no place there, and I could just go on for hours about how wrong that is, but we're trying to articulate that in this book.
I look forward to that.
It's so wrong because that's such a power imbalance. I mean, a power imbalance that's necessary.
In the best of times.
But the power imbalance is necessary for therapy, and that's the thing.
It is, but it also comes with an absolutely sacred responsibility.
Yes, it's sacred.
To privilege the client and people who are buying into CRT and training therapists in CRT are really compromising that sacredness of psychotherapy. So
They
Yeah,
gonna
so
stop
we're trying
compromising
to.
that sacred
Well, and I
when they
think
start getting
Charles,
sued.
I think Charles said something very important that I've been thinking, but he's right on. Is that if you're going to say this is a bad idea, you've got to say, what is a better idea? If we're going to talk about if we're going to talk about, for example, multiculturalism and psychotherapy, and we've taken a wrong turn with CRT, which is absolutely what's happened, what should people be doing instead? And I think after that's something that we as a profession are going to need to turn our attention to down the road. And so, Charles, I'd love to talk to you some about your work with 1776 at some point.
Definitely. That would be awesome.
Charles, I didn't know you were involved with 1776. That's cool.
You didn't know that? Really?
Well, I knew you signed the letter to Smith.
Oh, no. Go to the site. I think I'm the top scholar. Not because of academics, of course. It's because I was last and they just threw me up top. But yeah, I am. Yeah, that's interesting that you didn't know that. But he's talking
No,
about.
I knew you were involved, but I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, my essays in that book that went number one.
The
I'm
red,
there
white, and black.
in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That book, by the way, sold out in like 5
days.
I
know. I hear. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. But Aaron, definitely reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about that. And since we're talking about book, because I didn't mention enough, my book also comes out this fall, my third book, Race Crazy, BLM 1619, and the progressive racism movement, which is what I call it. It's kind of gentler racism. It's racism, but we give you a hug before we send you to the gulag or something. But
racism.
Race Crazy is called. It's coming out in the fall. I think it got pushed to November now, it's October or something like that. But look for it.
Excellent. Wow. And Stephen, how about you?
Well, I had I had a cancellation event about 3 years ago, and I kind of quit writing and left.
Whose cat is that?
I think I'm the only one without a cat here.
I have no cat.
Whose cat?
Oh, Gab. Look at that cat.
Oh,
that cat is up to no good.
The calico.
Right.
My one-eyed calico. She's only got one eye.
Amazing.
Oh my God. That poor baby.
You've been upstage, Steve. You've been upstage.
Sorry, Steven.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm not even gonna try.
Apologies.
So, Steven, what are you up to?
Well, so recently I started writing again. As a professional writer for many years, and I founded the website The Rumpus, which became very popular. I'm not affiliated with it anymore. And then just very recently, I started writing again a few months ago, and I started a Substack, which is only it's completely non-political, which is very difficult to do. And so it's advice-based and self-help based, and it's just stevenstack.substack.com. So it's the Steven Stack Substack. But recently, issue 24 was about how to be canceled. And it was, but rather than getting into my story or anybody's stories being canceled, it was just, here's what you do if you are canceled. Here are the best practices. So focusing rather on on helpful advice for people when they find themselves in the situation, as opposed to a political argument. So it's a non-argumentative Substack. It's purely advice that should be useful for anybody.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I'm going to check that out because I'm actually working on a piece right now that's about self-care when you're being canceled. So I'm certainly going to be interested in those best practices.
Piece for you. Yeah,
it's really good.
Send your link to that piece.
It's really good because it's very literary. Steven's such a good writer. He's so punchy.
My book was in the video that I'm famous now. Because one of the books that Jodi was holding was one of my books.
The Adderall Diaries is in the video. Yes.
Oh, right on.
And so is Joseph Massey's book, who was also canceled. Joseph Massey is a poet who was canceled in the Me Too shenanigans. And so I'm reading his book in the video as well.
Excellent.
Oh wait.
I think Charles just dropped out. That's okay.
Okay. Wait, can I just say I'm creating an organization?
Yes.
I'm creating wait, who said you are?
No, I said WOA is what I said.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm creating an organization to support individuals who are in hostile environments, whether it be academic or employment or whatever, and also to support individuals who are creating art, like actual art, not propaganda, not social justice infused bullshit, basically. So that's what I'm doing.
Wow. I love it. I love it. And I'm really looking forward to what you're doing with that organization, Jodi. I've been thinking a lot about just, the role of the arts in this. I've gotten a little bit like art obsessed lately.
I know you have. Tell us more. Carlin,
Oh,
tell us
I'm just
more
like-
about what you're doing.
So I want
art.
to we'll get to the art in a sec, but I want to steer this super chat because it's relevant to this. And Arcadian Twilight says, write a book on true white privilege, staring the likes of Robin DiAngelo and other famous woke people of note in a tongue-in-cheek mockumentary. And the
That
reason,
would be good.
and that was a great super chat, but like the reason I wanted to share that one in conjunction with what I'm doing is I am actually currently working on a book. I needs to be done by the end of the month. It's going to be out for I think March of next year or something. Some people today on this stream may or may not be discussed in the book, whether they know it yet or not, but I promise to be very generous with what I'm doing. And I actually did consider writing, I considered writing like a satire about Robin DiAngelo. That was actually one of my book ideas originally. I was like, I can't live with Robin DiAngelo for as long as I would need to actually write a satire about Robin DiAngelo. I think I would actually go insane.
I feel
But I am working on a book. It's going to be about just different ways you can fight back against the woke, like different things that like just everyday people can do to fight back in whatever areas they're going to, and just trying to explain things for the average person, because I think that there is a disconnect between how this stuff gets explained to us and what average people can understand and process, given that they're busy and they have jobs and they have lives and they don't want to read a 20-page paper that James Lindsay wrote, no matter how smart he is. We need an intermediary. And I think he would agree with that, to be honest. So that's what I'm working on.
That was very difficult. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Jodi, I want to just say thank you for dropping by and unveiling your rap video. Again, like I was so excited when you first showed me it. And I think the final version was even better than the one I saw. And I just thought it was great. Okay, I thought it was awesome. And I think it just took so much guts for you to put it out there, knowing that there are going to be people that are not going to receive it in the way it's intended. But screw them, man. That was awesome. And you are a hero for doing it.
Oh my God.
Such a good rap. Such a good video.
It was great.
Really thank you so much, Carlin, for like being such a champion. Like I just have to say Carlin is awesome. And Steven, thank you so much for like all your pointers. Like Steven actually helped me with the video. Like he's like, you need to not use the white back screen here. Steven, you helped me so much. Thank you. And like, I don't know, just thank you. Thank you. I think we need to do more of this.
Yes.
I think we need more like reinforcement of what we love. And we need the fighting back. We need like the fighting back, and we need to like the reinforcement of what it is that we love, our values, and the art and the comedy. Yeah, what are we fighting for? Mm-hmm. Like, let's reinforce that. And so I'm challenging all the creatives out there. Get busy.
I love it.
And Carlin, you're a knitter.
I am a knitter. I have all of my knits right behind me. But
yes,
knitting takes too long. It takes too long. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's all we have for the stream today. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, those of you who are in the chat. Now, I do have another stream tomorrow at 2 or 3 p.m., I believe, whatever I have it scheduled for on the channel. And this is for all the libertarians out there that might be interested in Pork Fest, which is the big libertarian gathering that I will be attending at the end of the month in New Hampshire. And we're going to have the organizer of Pork Fest on. I'm going. I'm going.
I'm so jealous.
I'm going.
I have vacation plans. I would totally be there. I'm so jealous.
I think it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. And I've never been before. So the organizer is going to come and tell me exactly what I need to know about the libertarian gathering in the woods in New Hampshire.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
I want to go.
So jealous. I looked it up on the website and I was like, oh my God, I still want to go. And like, I already booked a a vacation to Florida, which
Oh.
I mean, you know, Florida. It's Florida or Texas. You know.
Wow. There's
I will be
always
in
next
Texas
year.
for the next month.
Oh,
Wait, you're gonna be in Texas for the next month?
I will be in Texas on the 9th, and I'll be there for the next month.
wow.
Interesting. We'll have to talk.
Yes.
Texas
All
is the
right,
biggest-
guys. Well, I guess we're gonna bounce for today, but thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll see you soon.
So this was awesome.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Thank you, Carlin.
Wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you.